China's handling of the coronavirus has united its people against the government, using text, songs, pictures, and symbolic imagery to evade censors. The Chinese people asserted that the Chinese government had both covered up the coronavirus outbreak and downplayed the seriousness of the disease, causing avoidable deaths. On February 7, 34-year-old Dr. Li Wenliang, one of the 8 whistleblowers who first sounded alarms about the new coronavirus in Hubei province back in December, died from coronavirus. The brief blossoming of free speech ended quickly. Within several days of Li's death, the hashtag I want freedom of speech, which had gone viral on Weibo, the Chinese equivalent of Twitter, was deleted. Ziyongzhu, the activist who demanded Xi's resignation, was also arrested. China's media and internet are separated into two ultimately repressive paths, and the government maintains a strong authority over both. One of them is online news media, which emerged in the 1990s in China, was immediately integrated into the traditional state media system and strictly controlled. And the other one, majorly focusing on businesses and their endorsements so that they have more freedom to operate on the internet as a means to boost China's economy as long as their business operations don't challenge authority. As a result, Chinese social media platforms like WeChat and Weibo are vibrant and well used, but they are dominated by the entertainment, gossip, and other sensational content, and nothing related to political speech. Amid this pandemic, the government lost control of both realms of the Chinese internet. On social media, celebrity gossip gave way to discussions of public affairs, social issues, and politics. Comments critical of the government, normally deleted quickly, were widely circulated. China's greatest fear is national fragmentation, which is nothing but rising internal dissatisfaction and hence revolt by its own people. It is willing to counter this existential threat in any way possible in order to maintain order. To control the spread of coronavirus, most factories in China are closed. Foreign trade of goods fell by 11% year-on-year in the first 2 months to 592 billion US dollars. Exports in January-February slumped by 17.2% to 292.5 billion US dollars, the biggest fall since February 2019. Unemployment rates also decreased considerably. China has opted a clever way out of the Chinese citizens' questions about the working of the government. The Chinese government tried to create an emergency situation by entering into feuds not only with India but also Vietnam, Taiwan, and even Hong Kong for the past few weeks. And in this way, it plans to unite the people again. In fact, experts also have the opinion that China strategized the Sino-Indian War or the India-China War to distract both its population and international opinion from its internal issues back in 1962. 1-hour products from China started entering Indian households some years ago. Even though the majority of these products did not succeed in the Indian market due to their inferior quality, the Chinese invasion of our market is still continuing. The dumping of Chinese-made fans, locks, watches, bicycles, radios, batteries, etc. is slowly replacing our own products and has become a threat to Indian industries. China herself is one of the victims of the counterfeit products they produce. In the year 2001, fake and low-quality medicines produced in China killed about 192,000 people. Indian toy industry has been more or less wiped out due to the dumping of cheap Chinese toys produced mainly by the Chinese military-industrial complex of the People's Liberation Army. In the last few years, many manufacturing units in India have been closed down due to this competition. Some companies have adopted the next best line of action by joining the enemy. Many Indian companies have already shifted their production bases from small Indian towns and villages to China. This has resulted in unemployment for lakhs of workers, pushing them to the brink of starvation. China's steady entry into our textile, food, information technology, pharmaceutical, automobile, and other sectors may result in the collapse of many Indian industries in both organized and unorganized sectors. Made in China can be classified into 3 categories: products made in forced labor camps, products manufactured by the Chinese military, products manufactured by the disenfranchised labor force. It is a well-known fact that the ironically named People's Liberation Army, party leaders, and cadres own over 95% of the Chinese economy directly or through a variety of proxies. Every time you buy Chinese products such as smartphones, laptops, electronic items, watches, toys, headphones, shoes, television, etc., you might be funding a brutal regime. Your every click to download the apps and softwares made in China is helping China grow its economy, which in turn is used to fund their military, which is continuously penetrating our borders, and our brave soldiers have to deal with it. They have to deal with the critical situation in the borders while we sleep peacefully in our homes, complaining most of the time about the boredom of lockdown or that the government is not working properly or wasting our time scrolling through the social media feed. Let me tell you this because many people might be unaware of it. Every time you see an ad, it is specifically crafted out for you and it is not random. Every time you accept the terms and conditions before downloading or installing an app or software, you give them the access to your data, to what you browse, to what you buy, basically to everything that you are interested in, and this data is then sold or traded by the data brokers to the companies which record and keep track and personalize an ad for you which appears on your screen. In this way, China has long been very successful in entering the Indian market. They tempt you in buying gadgets which are cheap and affordable, but there are alternatives. They might be a little expensive, but is it not worth to spend a little more to fight the fight which we think only our soldiers at the battlefront is responsible for? Won't you be proud if you are given the chance to fight for the nation? Can't we at least not fund a brutal regime of which even the Chinese people are sick of? Can't we at least take a step and not use these products and not run these softwares or apps in our devices? Can't we at least do something and try to bring a change rather than complain? Can't we at least not help them who are tormenting our brothers at the border even at this time when there is a pandemic? I know many of you will question the feasibility of this boycott Chinese products movement. Let us start with the softwares. Uninstall them and replace them with similar ones. There are alternatives. TikTok, a very famous social media app, has 1/3 of its total downloads from India, standing at over 600 million downloads, which is 400 million more than China itself. There are many more examples of such apps and softwares being widely used in India, and most of the people don't know about all of this. They are either not aware or are ignorant. Celebrities should refrain from the advertisement of such apps or products because they appeal to a lot of people nationwide, and fans are using the same things celebrities do. And if these things are in their reach owing to cost factor and availability, they will definitely buy and use them. What about the hardware or the Chinese products? Let us first examine the import-export situation between India and China. This graph shows India's trade with China. The orange bar shows the import bulk, which stood at $60 billion in 2015, while the dark grey bar shows the export bulk, which stood at around $10 billion in the same year. The net difference between these two is called the trade deficit or trade surplus, depending on which country's export to import ratio is greater than 1. As it is evident from the graph, India is in trade deficit and it has been in the same situation for years now. This imbalance has been growing since 2010. The trade deficit of around $50 billion shows that India is majorly dependent on China for products both raw and finished. This is not at all a good scenario with respect to India and its economy. Why can't the government ban the imports, you ask? It is not possible according to the rules of World Trade Organization. Moreover, imagine the deficit of products that we will have to face. All of a sudden we won't get $60 billion worth of material which we use almost daily. So what exactly can we do? Replacement. Replace the equipments made in China with other alternatives as far as possible, and we should go ahead with this step gradually because a sudden replacement within every household on a large scale won't be possible. So this might take some time. Those who are underprivileged might find it difficult to replace because of the cost factor, and we should not expect them to do so. In this case, the traders and companies should gradually reduce selling made in China products and promote other alternatives. It is almost impossible to replace all the Chinese products with made in India products, but we can change our trading partners. More import of the same type of products from other nations will automatically reduce Chinese imports. On a personal level, we need to try to replace and reduce the demand of Chinese products as much as possible. If we do it gradually and over the span of a few months, maybe a year or two, we can definitely do it. Although I am quite sure that I have covered almost all of the points revolving around this issue, I do recommend you all to watch Sonam Wangchuk sir's video on boycotting Chinese products, which most of you might already have watched, but for those who haven't, links to his videos is in the description below. This was my research on the topic boycott made in China products. Thank you very much for being with me till the end of the video. I urge you to remember all these points whenever you buy your next smartphone or any other electronic gadget or download or install a software made in China. I would really appreciate it if you do your own research on this and comment down what you think about this and your ways of boycotting made in China products. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the entire video and don't forget to like and share. Also please do subscribe and press the bell icon if you want to watch more such documentary style videos. Thank you.